All right then, slightly, ground's cold, slightly random location for today's video diary of a year in a motorhome. It's actually been a few days, oh wow, it's been more than a few days. 21st of Feb was the last video diary. Today is Tuesday the 27th. I can't really remember that was it. Last week on Wednesday, Arthur and I were together and we went climbing. So that always goes on a little bit into the evening, but I think I might actually, that was the 21st, it doesn't really matter. I think the 21st might have been this time last week. So yeah, been climbing with Arthur, and then I can't really remember what we did on the Thursday, but basically, I've had a few days off because my very good friend Max came down to stay for a couple of nights, which was all good. And we were just staying at the yard near Pershore, so just a quiet one ultimately, because on the Sunday just gone, guess where I was? I was back at Dan's workshop yet again. I went because of the water leak, which I probably did cover on a previous video diary. So basically, where you fill up the onboard water tank that holds like 70 litres, so it's a proper amount of water. The pipe goes kind of down slightly and then connects onto the tank. I'd filled the tank up when I was at Steve's, and the pipe was very old and perished and dumped water all over both of the sofas, the L-shaped sofa, and I can basically see why there was why there's water damage on the wood and all that sort of stuff. So Dan worked his magic, and he replaced the inlet pipe. I suppose the sort of learnings from all this is, if I'm ever going to buy an older vehicle, or any vehicle to be honest, I'm just going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to really try everything before I load anything into the vehicle. I probably would have picked that up, because you can pay for a pre-purchase inspection, but it's only going to go so far. So I suppose what I'd do next time around is I'd probably pay Dan for a day's labour, take him with me, and we would just properly tear through the vehicle, do the pre-purchase inspection, but then do a whole lot more and just rip everything out that you can do without damaging it, and just I'd be looking at everything under the hood, because for example with this pipe, Dan said straight away that it had the wrong type of clip on it, so I bet somebody's replaced it at some time. They haven't put the right type of clip on, which basically means that the pipe hasn't sealed properly. So that's one thing, but the pipe ultimately, when Dan took it off, it literally opened in half like that. So no wonder it was pissing water everywhere. So that was good. And then Dan also reconnected the heater pipe that goes from the diesel heater piping into the battery box, because we're having a cold spell again. So kind of getting towards the end of February, and based on my experience, my first experiences of staying out and about in the motorhome in April last year, I was still seeing 4 degrees C in the motorhome when I woke up in the mornings. So we've still got potentially a lot of cold weather to come until we get through April and then into May. So yeah, that's the sort of considerations of this time of year. Ultimately, the sorts of things that I've been doing in the evenings to keep the motorhome a bit warmer, like hanging a thick blanket from the upstairs bed to sort of cut off the cab, because there's no point in trying to heat up the cab as well as the rest of the habitation area. It's just no point. So that's a good thing to do. And then making sure in the daytime we're opening windows onto the latch, letting good fresh air get through, because if we and also leaving at least one of the upstairs windows on the latch through the night, because there's no other ventilation up there. So when Arthur's sleeping up there, or if I'm sleeping up there, just ultimately our breathing out is dumping a lot of moisture into that area. It doesn't go anywhere, so we really want to avoid damp. So that's definitely a tip. It's quite surprising how much condensation will be on the windows if they're shut versus none if they're left just on the latch, so they're only open a tiny bit. I'd rather sacrifice a bit of heat for good airflow to keep the moisture out, because motorhomes just don't breathe like a modern house that's got vents all over the place ultimately. So yeah, that was Sunday. Yeah, lovely seeing Max. I mean, living in a motorhome and having a friend come to stay, it's no different to if I did have a house or a flat. It's more fun ultimately because we're kind of semi-camping. Like, Max slept upstairs, so he had that area to himself. He sleeps later than me and goes to bed a bit later than me. That was okay. I slept downstairs as normal, as if I was staying with Arthur. So I could get up, do some yoga, make myself a coffee. Obviously I'm doing that all as quietly as I can, so as not to wake up Max. And then ultimately the rest of the time we're just sat in the lounge chatting. I was also dog sitting for the guy that owns this place as a way to say thank you for letting me stay. So we went for a walk a few times, and then we also ventured up into the edge of Evesham to a farm shop, so that's just 15 minutes walk away, so that's pretty cool. I think tomorrow I'm going to have a go at leaving the motorhome here, and then I'm going to walk into Evesham because I meet some friends for some coffee and co-working on a Wednesday. So I'm going to have a go at walking in and just doing my best to not use the motorhome unless it's absolutely essential. So that's obviously better for pollution and better for money. Also because I'm trying out Ultimate or Ultra diesel. Depends on which brand of petrol diesel station I go to, what they call their own. But the reason for that is based on the service that I had with Chris at C&H Autos in Pershore. I was just chatting to him about it. Should we be doing anything else, like putting the I forget what they call it, but it's like the engine cleaner that you can put in the fuel tank. And he said that the best thing to do is just purchase the premium fuel, because that already comes with the additives. So I'm giving that a go. And based on last week, I had a very similar week to my previous weeks, and I spent £40, and that included driving for 2 hours and an hour there and back going to see a friend. This week just gone, also went for 2 hours, hour there and back to go to Dan's workshop, using the heater, driving into Pershore a couple of times. And yeah, just roughly £40 would do it, and that's on the more expensive fuel that hopefully after a few fills will be doing the engine more good. So ultimately, if it can be reducing pollution overall and helping to sort of prolong the life of the engine and all the engine parts, and getting more fuel efficiency and all that sort of stuff, then it's got to be a good thing. So I'm sort of trying out that. The reason I'm here is because I've just been for a long run, and I'm going to have a wash in a bucket. So the water butt here is collecting rainwater off this little roof. I'm going to basically fill up the trusty bucket. This bucket is it's like a no-brainer for going out and about in a motorhome. I use it for doing this sort of thing. I use it for washing up. Arthur and I use it for playing about on the beach. I use it to get water, wild water, to refill the Lifesaver jerry can. It's also another reason I got it originally was because what happens if one of us are really sick in the motorhome? We absolutely don't have the facilities to be cleaning up sick and quickly washing bedding in the middle of the night. So that was another reason to get a nice big builder's bucket. I just love it. It's just really really versatile. For washing up, it's nice and deep, so you don't splash water all over the place. Whereas the sinks in the motorhome are just a bit rubbish. Like, I don't need a sink in the bathroom just to wash my hands. And the sink in the kitchen is kind of in the way. I like using it as a work surface, and again, it's not very deep. So if I was going to design my own camper van, then I'd be using a builder's bucket as the sink. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna fill up water from the water butt, and then I'm gonna have a wash from that, which is all good. So that's kind of the closest I can get at the moment for wild swimming. It's been a little while, for one reason or another. Kind of work on the motorhome, going to see my friend Steve, seeing Max, just different things like that. Basically, I've been around here quite a lot. I haven't actually been away into the wild since last year, and so I'm back with Arthur this coming Friday. We're going to actually head off, probably, it depends if he's up for it as well, but to Snail Beach lead mine. It used to be one of the largest lead mines in England, so it's not too far away. It's Shropshire way, so it'll be an hour or so's drive, but it'll get us out on an outdoor wild adventure again, and then we'll come back and we'll be in Pershore as normal while Arthur's at school each day. And then the following Friday, so next week on Friday, I'm heading off into the wild, which I'm really looking forward to. I've really been craving it recently, and also I wanted to do that before we head up to Scotland to go and stay with my mum and see my sister. We're going to drive up in the motorhome, and that's the weekend after I go off into the wild. So there's a bit coming up, basically. As far as that, I think I probably covered everything else. Yeah, probably having the just thinking of other kind of hints and tips and things like that. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the builder's bucket again. It's so much easier when you've got half a bucket of water for doing washing up. It's just really easy. I know it might sound pretty boring, but it's these sort of practicalities that make life easy or not ultimately. So yeah, I come and get some water from here. Sure, it's not cleaned and sterilised and filtered, but I would use it just for dunking plates and dishes and pots and pans, like I did scrambled eggs, which makes a pan really, really messy, and caked on egg. And then I did baked beans. So yeah, it's just really easy for leaving pots and pans and plates and stuff to soak. And then I'm using the Eco Cover or E-Cover. I can't remember which is the brand exactly. The sort of eco-friendly washing up liquid, giving everything a good scrub, and then dunking it back in the water, and then leaving all the washing up to dry on a couple of little trays I've got. So that's all good. I definitely wouldn't be using this water. I wouldn't directly drink it, but I would fill up the Lifesaver jerry can and drink from that. So that's kind of what I'm doing for drinking water. And then apart from that, I suppose it's just always checking the weather. I'm always checking the temperature in the evening, because I want to know if I need to put the covers on the outside of the fridge freezer, because I don't want to damage the fridge freezer. So 8 degrees C or less, those covers need to go on, so I'm doing that. I'm also checking the temperature because of the heat of the battery, although it's not as much of a problem now that Dan's connected a heater pipe, but I'm kind of curious to see how good that heater pipe is. It might need to be improved. And then I suppose as far as coping with the cold, I've been practicing for quite a while, so I'm okay with the cold. Hence, it's actually pretty cold now. It is, I'm sat here in a t-shirt and my pants. It's 7 degrees, 8 degrees at the moment, but I'm okay. But definitely getting up and straight away doing a yoga session is just a great way to warm up whilst the motorhome's cold. And before I do my half an hour of yoga, I'm boiling some water. So I'm having hot lemon water with like a chopped up organic lemon, and then I'm into the half an hour yoga session. So I have got the diesel heater on in the mornings at the moment, but yoga is a great way to warm up. I would still be wearing my fingerless gloves, because my hands go really random colours when it's cold, because my circulation is not that good. So I start off with those. I start off ultimately what I've slept in, which is kind of jogging bottoms or long johns, and then through the half an hour I'm probably taking a few things off because I'm warming up, and at that point the motorhome's warming up as well. So yeah, rather than be freezing cold, waiting in bed until the motorhome's warm, getting up and doing some physical activity is a really good way to warm up and be fit and healthy ultimately. Cool, that's it for this one. Might be back in the motorhome for the next one. I thought I'd also do one. It's 5:36. It's not the normal kind of 6 to 7 o'clock time, although you can see it's getting a bit lighter. What I'm doing when I'm not with Arthur is, rather than get up at 5, when I'm not with Arthur I'm getting up at 6. It just makes so much more sense to not burn myself out getting up too early all the time. And it's lovely through that half an hour of yoga from about 6:15 to 7:15, especially where I'm parked now. I'm literally watching the sun rise, which is just fantastic health benefits, mental health benefits. Yeah, that's really, really nice. And it's nice. Oh gosh, that was a good catch, wasn't it? The wind just blew that over. Wow, I got like Jedi power. Let me just see if you're still recording. Yes. Wow, maybe I should fly a fighter plane or something like that. Yeah, it's a bit brighter in the evenings, but still a way to go. I'm looking forward to doing yoga out on the grass just there, which is out the back of the motorhome. I haven't done it quite yet. It's been cold and damp and wet in the mornings. It's frosty in the mornings at the moment because it's that cold. But yeah, we're getting close to when I can start doing yoga outside, and that's just a really special thing. I'm physically connected to the sun rays as it comes up, and that is awesome. So that's it for this one. Check back again soon for the next one.